George Little.
Thank you, John. We all owe a debt to this man. Why? Well, because he never really grew up. He is Ward Kimball, award-winning animator and creator of many of Walt Disney's most memorable characters. Today, Ward Kimball lives in a child's world of toys and fantasies. Janet Langhart takes us to Ward Kimball's world. Norman Stewart of Hickory, North Carolina, you asked for it.
Who can ever forget Walt Disney's Pinocchio? Or Jiminy Cricket? Or Alice in Wonderland? Ward Kimball was the animator of those beloved characters during his 30 years with Walt Disney. Proud winner of many awards, he's equally proud of his unique collection of toys.
This next toy is patterned after a full-size act in the Barnum and Bailey Ringling Brothers circus called a Magic Ball. Ta-da-da! Talk about parking garages. This is one from 1930s, and it's very amusing. The toy trains represented here on these shelves are some of the oldest toy trains made in America. They made them out of tin, cast iron, paper, glued onto wood. They had one thing in common. They didn't run on track. The kids had to run them on the kitchen floor. They either pulled them with a string or they wound them up like a clockwork. One of my favorite old-time locomotives was made by George Brown in 1870. I love this because it looks like a cartoon. This old European Markland car used to be my favorite toy train passenger car, and I was so much in love with it I decided to paint its portrait. But to make it interesting, I added the eyeballs. This is what I call the Continental Annex. This is where I have all the European-made toys. Most of the toys in this room either run by steam with a little alcohol burners and water, or you have to wind them up. The train you see working now is the one electric train and the one piece of electric track. Everything in this room is older than 1915, before World War I. In the old days, if your house didn't have electricity or you couldn't afford it, you had to wind up your train with a key. Trouble is, after it made a few loops around the track, would run down, you had to wind it up all over again. This is one of the rarest toy trains of all. It was made by the Hubley Company in 1893. It's supposed to be a reproduction or a replica of the New York L, or elevated. You had to wind it up here in the center, and it has a double wind-up motor. Runs a long time, and off she goes. This old electric train is much like the one I had when I was a kid. It was made by Ives in 1924. The great thing about it was it had lights in the car. We used to turn off the house lights at night, and especially around the Christmas tree, and run a train like this and ooh and ah. Of course, all these trains you see operating on the table are toy trains. They're not scale models. You take, for instance, this accessory here, the Suburban Station by Lionel. It's a toy. The lights are oversized, the figures are oversized, but has that great toy quality about it. Now, the most ridiculous accessory of all, of course, has to be the tunnel, with just a piece of bent metal over the top of the track, with little flowers going on the front, a little dab of snow on top, and a little bitty house on the side.
But Ward Kimball's fascination with trains goes beyond these wonderful models. Believe it or not, you're looking at his own full-size railroad of historical old equipment on his ranch in California. Ward Kimball grew up, but never old. And for that, we thank him. And you too, Norman Stewart, because you asked for it.
Oh, say, Goofy, how did Ward get all those locomotives to work so well?
Well, I guess he trained them. Oh, little goofy humor there.
Very goofy. And now here's Jack Smith with another